Hello and welcome to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 402. I'm Adam, and my name is Romana Dravatna-Lunda. And this Kirby Bartlett-Sloan.
That'd be what we call scrinstone, sir.
And Mary Lang.
You hangs a bit of that around your neck and you won't never suffer from the scringes, no matter how cold it be.
Yes, this week. Nearly got a word in there, didn't I? How long did that take? It was about 3 seconds in before I nearly got a word in edgeways.
Mary.
Yeah.
You missed a good one.
Kirby, you have like 20, so every one of them.
Well, I would have used this one if someone had done the scrinstone, because it applies to me. Mercy, Highness, spare these gray hairs.
Anyway. Yes, Mrs. Melrose has gone down with something. I have to say that I think it's a good thing that, that the Melrose family keep getting ill, because obviously it means that when they grow up, they'll be their sort of lymph symptoms mean they won't catch a thing. So it's really quite good that they're such a.
Babies, they get sick so much.
They're so prone to all the little bugs that are going around them. Bless them. But a good thing happened this week. We found out that Isla has come to some sense and decided, 1, to like football, and 2, to become a Southampton supporter. Woo!
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Okay, whatever.
I'm just going to adjust my microphone a tad.
Just go along with it. You know, it's something else.
Okay.
So
okay,
yes,
going along with it.
This week we're going to be reviewing the Rebus Operation, and we're going to go straight into that. So I need to get my little Rebus Operation window up. Oh, is it gone? Oh, there it is. So we begin with episode 1. Episode 1 begins with a title sequence.
Oh, really?
And then we have, it moves on a little bit, a scene within the TARDIS where the Doctor's lying on the floor with his new K9 covered in said scarf. He's also got a bit of a scar on his lip from a dog bite, which happens later in the series.
Excuse me?
I think that happens later in the series, that scar, because he does it makes what?
Not exactly. I'm having trouble with my DVD playback, but the dog itself belonged to Paul C., who played Graf Vindicay.
Yeah. Oh. Because there's a scene later in the series where he whacks his face on the console, is there not? Where,
yes, that's they.
Yeah, but that's related to what you're seeing on here.
So they're trying to make up the scar, even though it's happened more recently here. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. The Pirate Planet has the scene. I think the Pirate Planet has the scene where he hits his face on the console, but in this case, you will see lots of scenes in the console room where they, from the first recording block and the second recording block. And in the first recording block, there's no scar. In the second recording block, there is the scar. And it's shifting back and forth. And so you're not seeing it as much as you see it in Pirate Planet. And that's why they came up with it in Pirate Planet.
Okay. I didn't notice that. Well, thank you for putting that one, Kirby. I suppose you're one of them.
But specifically, the dog was Paul C.
Okay, anyway, so the Doctor, a door opens, the TARDIS door opens, in fact, with a bright light beaming in, and he goes out and has a word with the White Guardian. Never did we work out what the White Guardian was. I got confused because I thought it had something to do with Time Wars. This is the time, not now. I thought it had something to do with Time Wars, where the companion he decided to give the Doctor was a time lady, rather than any old sort of person, really. But there you go. So
the White Guardian appears as Lord President to Romana to send her on her mission. That's mentioned in the conversation with both the White Guardian and Romana. Ooh. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. You tell me.
As far as who the White Guardian and the Black Guardian are, they're apparently Eternals similar to the Eternals that we see there in the Fifth Doctor's
Ah,
grid, but they're higher.
they're like Q.
Yes.
But there's no actual reference to the fact that she is a time lady. She just talks about having passed the academy.
Yeah, well,
So-
therefore that
and
implies
it
she's a
might
time lady there.
include the doctor in her thesis, but she may be, on her way to being one, but there's
Oh, I
no.
see. No, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, that's
for
fine.
being now.
She's of the Doctor's species. That's what I was trying to say, and I thought you were
Sure.
going off.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, the White Guardian tells the Doctor he's decided that he has to do this mission of getting these segments of a cube, which is the key to time, and has to go on a few missions to acquire it, and he needs a companion to do this because K9's not enough. So he gets some Time Lord who looks like Mary Tam. I did note.
Master,
Yes.
one of the first things Romana says is the president of the Supreme Council sent me. Therefore, you can pretty much assure that she is a time lady, time lord.
Yes, she is. I know. Yes. I will say though, when I look at Mary Tam's eyes and her eyebrows, they're almost identical to Debbie Melrose's eyes and eyebrows, which makes it such a shame that she's not actually on the show today. You look at Debbie. There are pictures of Debbie available on social media. You look at just cut the rest of Mary Tam's face off, and then cut the rest of Debbie's face off. It'll be very difficult to tell the difference.
Perhaps Debbie is a time lord.
It's not quite the point I was trying to make, Kirby, but if you want to go down that road, that's fine. Anyway, so yeah, they get this little magic wand thingy, which enables the TARDIS to find segments of the key to time, and then they, when our next scene is on the ledge, well, in a castle, really, isn't it, on a planet called Rebus, with a couple of sort of scavenging, thievy type people. One of them is trying desperately hard to suppress a very powerful Scottish accent and not doing it particularly well. And the other chap obviously is some sort of voice artist because he does so many different accents and voices in this story that and I never remember many of the characters' names in this story, I'm afraid. The Doctor, I got him, got Romana, got
You mean
Graf
Unstock?
Vindicay, and Bostock. Is it Bostock? Isn't it Bostock?
No, Unstock.
Yeah, but it sounds like Bostock. Wasn't Bostock a character in another Doctor Who story?
And Nigel Plaskett, who played Unstock, was in Pipkins and did lots of voice for Pipkins.
What you mean, the one who? Yeah. I would have thought you can tell he's a voice artist because of the fact that he's able to do these different. Anyway, moving on. So we have this. What's his name of that actor that plays the captain? What his name is? Prentice Hancock, is it? Is that right?
Yes, that's Prentice Hancock.
Yeah, because he was obviously in the Pirate Planet playing a grumpy character there as well. So he certainly plays parts in which he never smiles and his bottom lip sticks out a lot.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, the Bostock and his wait for the correction. No, didn't get it come along. And his Scottish sort of Cockney.
Unstock. Okay.
Well, how many times I can get
I'll just let you make the mistake.
try and get themselves into the castle, and we see a little glimpse of a monster, and
I like it.
a cabinet containing various jewelry, sort of crown jewel type items. It's fairly clear early on that the one of the key to time segments is actually in that cabinet, that being the Jethro, of course. But the obviously Unstock, or whatever his name is, are trying to steal it. Shut your face. Bloke from Pipkins, is trying to steal it. So the Doctor.
No, he's not trying to steal it.
What he's trying to do then?
He's putting it in there.
And he's putting it in.
Why is he putting it in? Sorry, I lost that one.
He's putting it in so they can go through with the whole operation. It's how they do the scam.
Yeah, they're trying to sell the planet by saying how valuable it is because it has that
The Jethro.
mineral.
Okay.
So they have to put a piece of the mineral there to convince them, that it exists.
And then they take it away and do that, move on to another planet and do the same thing.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a bit pirate planetish in some ways. No, it's not. I'm only joking. Anyway, so the Doctor and Romana arrive, and of course the tracer helps them to find the key to time quite quickly, but of course they can't get to it because there's what?
Apparently, Tom Baker did not like the Romana's costume at all.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. Sorry.
I'm not sure why. I like it.
Anyway, I like what's inside the costume, to be fair. Laurie Nick says, hello, I was distracted by musicians, but now I'm here. And Lillian Robin says, I'm here. Hey, Lillian, we're here. Moving on. So then we obviously meet the Graf Vindicay and his little soldier bloke, his sort of general sidekick, whose name escapes me.
Sherlock.
Same as you, but I'm just saying the name of the soldier escapes me.
This little feeling that Graf Vindicay and Sherlock were kind of an item.
Very good. I hadn't picked up on that one. Very good.
I mean, a little closer than just war buddies.
Yeah, I hadn't picked up on that one, Kirby, but well done. I don't think they would have.
End crutches here.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they would have been allowed to imply such a thing in 1970s television, but I think we can put our own imagination. And certainly you have done that, Kirby, because I didn't pick up on that one at all. So you're trying to say there's a bit of a gay agenda going on in Doctor Who in 1978?
Yes.
Wow. Amazing. I think Russell T Davies would have been well happy with that. Anyway, the Doctor gets to the cabinet and tries to get into
Was
it.
J&T involved?
He was involved in this episode. He wasn't he? He was the floor manager, I think. Production floor manager?
Possibly, I think so.
Production unit manager or something like that.
He was involved in the production, yeah.
And then, the Doctor or Romana gets trapped underneath the door where the rubbish monster is, and that's the end of it.
Shriven's Ale or Vale, something like that.
Same to you. Anyway, right, so
I liked it.
You liked it, okay. Right, so the next episode, they get away, and quite easily, funny enough. And there's lots of stuff going on, and then the captain and his team come in and sort of bow to whatever they're bowing to. I don't know what they're bowing to. Actually, there's a coat of arms, there's not a costume, royal garb in there, isn't it? I think they're bowing to the royal garb.
Right, they're just basically venerating all the objects. It's very Ivan the Terrible sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look medieval Russian, doesn't it?
Yes.
And
well, the costumes were borrowed from a Ivan the Terrible production for the BBC.
Well, no, I read that all the costuming was created just for this episode.
Oh, okay.
Mary, I do like that one. Laurie Nick says the Graf and his sweetie double kisses. Oh yeah, wasn't there a treble kiss situation going on, or was that on another program? That was another program. Anyway, right. So yeah, there's loads of dialogue. I can't remember the Scottish bloke who can't do the Cockney accent. I can't remember his character's name. Who was that? Bald-headed chap, Ian Carmichael, I think, is it? What's his name?
You mean what? Garon?
Garon, that's it. Thank you very much, Garon.
Yeah. Garon and Unstuff are you've got two Robert Holmes double acts in this story. It's one of the things that makes it great. Garon and Unstuff and Graf Vindicay and Sherlock.
Sherlock. It's one of your favorite. Sherlock, yeah, it's one of your favorite programs, isn't it? Yeah.
And then again, when Unstuff gets with Binro, they do a nice double act.
When they get with.
Well.
All right, well, moving on. Right then. So yeah, certainly lots of scenery chewing going on in this particular story. Anyway, and some scenery chewing.
Still, you don't like this story.
Be quiet. Let me finish. So yeah. And there's lots of scheming going on with Garrock. Is it Garrock? No? Okay, fine. Garon, that's it. Yeah, scheming left, right, and centre, and the Dr. Romana in the middle of it all. And she has actually a costume she's got. Is bear in mind, it's obviously quite cold in this planet. It's actually quite sensible, to be fair. And I'm just moving on a little bit, and then somebody tries to steal the thing, and then there's this scene that irritates me a great deal. I'm just going to play it. This scene here irritates me a great deal.
You and your accomplices. No one makes a fool of the Graf in decay and lives.
And then he says,
Shalak, hunt. Execute them.
And then we have a stupid little zoom in on the Doctor, looking all shocked, and oh my God, how are we going to get out of this one?
That was going to be one of my quotes.
Yeah, but he looks straight into the camera and does that line. I think it's a bit too much of this, looking straight into the camera and doing stuff in this era of Doctor Who. It's becoming a bit too much of a habit. That's the theme tune of Doctor Who, because I forgot to turn the volume down. There we go. So, of course, the next episode, they escape because I think somebody dies. No, don't kill them yet. Blah, 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 blah. And somebody steals the magic wand off Romana. And yes,
Tracker, which they broke several times. Also, Master.
Yes.
There were 2 recording blocks for this. And the first recording block, when you first see Romana outside the TARDIS using the Geiger counter noise of the tracker, she pretty much has to stand still because there's a electric line going up the sleeve of her costume to light up the tracker. By the time they did the second recording block, which is down in the labyrinth, they figure out how to attach a battery to her so she can walk around with it.
Cool.
Ding.
No. There is a scene in which the Garon gets a bit of a scrape on his arm, and Dr. Romana squirts some perfume on it and heals it. Oh, okay, fair enough. Lillian Robbins says, I love this story. Maybe we should have waited to the end for that bit. And yeah, moving on. Right, so it's quite funny because Garon and Bostock. Wait for a second now.
Unstuck.
There we go. They sort of side with whoever seems to be getting the upper hand at that particular time. And then the Doctor blows his dog whistle and K9 comes out of the TARDIS. And then we meet one of the most hammed-up characters in the whole story. The little sort of the old chap with the hood who talks with a slightly wonky mouth, who has foreseen travel through the stars. Eh?
Binro,
that's it. Who's foreseen travel through the stars, and of course when he meets Bostock, any second now, he meets
Unstuck.
he
You were going to let that go, Kirby, as I recall.
of course, Unstuck can't resist to actually tell him, you're right. We meet another cool character actually in this episode as well, the soothsayer woman.
Yes.
Facial makeup is superb, and although she can't say the word here, she goes "Yaw" instead of
Yeah, well,
"Yaw."
Her
Very
costume
posh.
is based off of a Celtic god, Herne the Hunter.
Looks like Maleficent to me. Sort of gold Maleficent hat. But she's a really cool character.
It's a little odd to have real magic in Doctor Who, though.
Real magic is in Doctor Who's by the door there. Hello, magic. There he is. Look, I'm holding my Elder Wand for sort of viewers. Right, Elder Wand. Very useful, this Elder Wand. I'll show you what I can do with the Elder Wand for the viewers only. You talk amongst yourselves a bit, Kirby, while I demonstrate what you can do. This Elder Wand is very special. You carry on, Kirby. All right, don't bother carrying on, then.
But you were listening to me.
No, I'm listening to you, but I'm also demonstrating in a moment when I get it fixed up what this particular Elder Wand can do. Magic looks a bit worried because he's going to be at the other end of this particular. Right, watch this. Expelliarmus. Oh, well, that seemed to do something, didn't it?
Okay, I guess I'll have to go back and watch the.
Oh God! Lauren says the Seeker is my cosplay goal.
yeah.
Lillian Robin says Unstofer. Unstofer?
Unstuff.
Unstoff. Sorry, Lillian. Yes. Point for Lillian because I couldn't say it right. Sorry, back to the. Sorry, were you trying to say something, Kirby?
Yes.
What?
The Seeker apparently has real magic powers because she really and truly can tell where these people are that she is trying to seek.
So what you're saying is she's got real magic powers, and she's not just a clairvoyant. So you don't believe in the chances that an alien person would be
there should
clairvoyant.
be a scientific explanation. This is Doctor Who.
Be quiet.
Clairvoyant. She might not actually be magical.
Or she just might be one of the psychic, not psychic, because the doctor has psychic abilities. She just might have very psychic.
You got me. You got me.
Anyway, right, but she's a great character.
Yes.
Despite her, and she reminds me very much of
Master.
Yes.
Yeah. We see the Seeker, I believe, in 3 different scenes. In the first one, I believe her left hand is burned. In the second scene, her right hand is burned and the left hand isn't. In the third scene where she does everything, both hands have burn marks on them.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that, Kirby. Yeah, I would say she reminds me of
from the info test.
Shut up, the Sisterhood of Khan a little bit. We have Laurie Nix saying the bones. Is that from Star Trek? Anyway, so she's predicted some doom, a bit of doom. So there's a little bit of sitting around having a chat, and Garon sort of befriending the Doctor while having a tankard of beer or something like that. And there's one of the soldiers of the Vas thingy. Vas. I thought those were things that were pipes to join. I thought they were the pipes that join the testicles to the rest of the male genitalia. Oh, that's the Vas deferens, isn't it? Well, this is the Vas deferens' brother, the Vas Vindicae.
Graf Vindicae.
Oh, the Graf Vindicae. Yes. Anyway, I love the soldiers' costumes with those great big helmets with their good slots in. They're quite cool.
Makes it easy for the Doctor to impersonate one of them.
Are you jumping ahead there, Kirby? Like I said, Bostock makes friends with
Unstuff.
That whatever is that the sort
of Kirby, you're going to let that go.
With the little hovel bloke. What is his name again? I can't remember his name. These names are so difficult to remember.
The heretic.
That's the heretic bloke. Very difficult. I can remember some of the names of the story: Romana, Canine, Doctor, Bostock, Vas Differens.
Every week, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So moving on. Oh god, this room's full of candles. Well, I don't know. There's the Bostock and the whatever his name is go off on a little mission together. I can't remember what that mission was all about.
Unstuff and Binro.
Oh, that's the ones. Yeah, they go off.
Garon found out that the Seeker knew where Unstuff was, and so Binro, since he knows where the labyrinth or whatever the catacombs are, leads Unstuff into there to hide.
Thank you for that, Kirby.
Did you not watch the story?
Yes, of course. I've watched it loads of times. I might not have been able to get into it very well. I did indeed watch it. I mean, you say about the Seeker. That reminds me of this. Actually, oh god, I've got an advert. That's one thing I hate about YouTube. You can't watch what you've got to watch an advert. Yeah, this is a song.
I asked the Beatles. I asked too much for lyrics, but he couldn't help me either. They call me the Seeker. I've been searching low and high.
I thought that's quite apt, where it was the Who, Doctor Who, the Seeker. I thought I'd get a round of applause for that one. We didn't get one, obviously. You know, no. Right, where do we get to? Right, so we got Lillian Robbins says, "Lol." Quite rightly so, Lillian. Back to the story. So they got what? I didn't get that until they went off on a little mission together, and stuff goes off. And
Master.
Yes.
You want to know when I first saw this story?
5 minutes ago. I don't know. When you were at college or something. I don't know. When did you first see this? When we reviewed it last time.
About 6 weeks ago.
That's the first time you ever saw it?
Yes.
I quite enjoyed it last time. One of the first few times I ever saw it. Anyway, right, moving on.
I don't like it anymore.
Oh yeah, and there's they start wandering through corridors, and then Well, that was. Oh yes, Romana gets grabbed by the rubbish monster, and then of course we have another scene in the Vas Difference comes up with another Vas Difference-y line. Here we go.
He cannot escape, and no one will ever know how he tried to trick the graph in decay.
Oh, graph in decay. That was it. Sorry about that.
Good, you got it.
The cliffhangers in this story were, weren't they? Right, so that led us to episode 4. It's like watching a sort of pantomime on television for this particular story. And the doctor helped.
I don't like this one.
The doctor helped free Romana from the bite of the rubbish monster, who then scuttled off, looking like a bloke in a costume.
No, Master.
Oh, here we go. No, I was going to say it was a cat in a costume.
It's like a pantomime horse. It's 2 blokes in a costume.
2 small blokes in a costume. Probably one of them being.
Actually, one of them is the standard guy who is always the stunt guy.
Stuart Fell.
Stuart Fell. Yes,
I thought it might be because he's quite dinky.
He's in the back.
Meanwhile, the Bostock and the strange bloke with a funny wonky mouth are still wandering through corridors and still.
Benro.
And then the Jethro is found. They find the Jethro, and
Jethrick. It's not that hard.
Dearie me. You can understand why things are
You two
confusing.
wind each other up. It's really funny.
These facts are very confusing in this story. I don't really like it when I can't remember characters' names very well. It makes me very difficult. Makes it difficult for me to do a review. Why can't they make the characters' name? And the characters in this story are quite similar as well. You've got 2, like you say.
No, they aren't.
Be quiet. We've got 2 teams of best friends scuffling around the catacombs of a castle, with names that aren't particularly easy to remember, to be fair. And
Yeah, Robert does not come up with easy names.
I had the names figured out the first time I saw this.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Bostock, I think, comes from a 6th Doctor story, from a little chap that was turned into a wolf. I think that was Bostock. Was that a Robert Holmes story? Not sure if it was or wasn't. I think
What is the story? What story?
This is from the Trial of Time Lord, the 2nd story in Trial of Time Lord, where the Doctor goes a bit loopy, walks backwards into the TARDIS, goes a bit loopy, murders somebody in cold blood, but because he's under the influence. And yes, wasn't that the one where Perry dies?
Yeah, I don't think Robert Holmes was writing stories that late.
I think he was, because he wrote the first part of the last part of Trial of Time Lord. He wrote episode 13. So I think he may well have written. Was it Mysterious Planet? I can't remember what it's called. It's the one where Perry dies.
The first one.
That's the one where Perry dies. Anyway.
The one with.
One with her.
Brian
Blessed.
Nabil.
Yeah, Brian Blessed, isn't it, as well? And I'm pretty sure that.
No. It's Brian Blessed.
Yes, his little sidekick was called Bostock. Fairly sure. Might be wrong. Anyway, Laurie Nick said, "Love that song." Yeah, The Seeker by The Who. That's what she's referring to. It's a cracking tune, isn't it? Anyway, right then. So moving on. So the K9 comes along, and then there's some very awkward scenes with the Romana and K9. They do sort of doesn't seem to work very well between them.
No.
At first, but I think that might be acting, because obviously I don't think this was the first story filmed, was it, Kirby?
I
guess it was the first story.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain why there was a bit of awkwardness there. She wasn't obviously used to acting.
There is no character with such a name in Mind Warp.
Well, I'll do. Well, after I'm going to Google Bostock, because I've seen it somewhere. Let's have a look. Where have I seen Bostock? It reminds me a little bit of.
Bostock is a stapler company, isn't it?
Be quiet. And now you maybe Google it on the email system. That was your fault. Right. What's his name again? Bostock. 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 Probably not even spelled like that. Bostock. John Bostock. John Joseph Bostock, the footballer who played midfield at Toulouse. That's not who I'm looking for. Okay. No, we try and type doctor, and it comes out as dictery. Right then, what we got here then? Okay, Bostock was the squire to Orsini, the Grand Order of Oberon. He's a squire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that ring any bells with your memories?
No.
Right. Oh, yeah, it is the Sixth Doctor. I got that bit right. But it was in Revelation of the Daleks.
Ah.
Oh.
He was that chap who was in the Champions. He was his sidekick. William Gaunt, was it? He was his sidekick. Bostock. Moving back to this particular story. That was a bit of a sidetrack, wasn't it? Right then. And some stuff goes off and some more stuff goes off. And then the soothsayer says that only... Shut up a minute. The soothsayer says that only one of them will live throughout this whole thing. And I'll let you say before I say the funny bit. Go on.
Since you were bringing up Revelation of the Daleks, I just wanted to remind us that Clive Swift passed on.
He did pass on a while back, and there was somebody else who died recently as well, connected to Doctor Who. It wasn't even on the... Oh, we didn't do news, did we? Or did we? Well, somebody died from Doctor Who later, didn't they? And I had to remind... Oh, it was...
Well,
yeah, sure, no, it was Windsor Davis. Windsor Davis passed away. That wasn't even a thing, and he played Toby in the Power of the Daleks. Was it? Or was it the?
Oh yeah, but I believe we spoke about him. The thing is that
I can't remember speaking about him.
Died after our last recording.
Yeah, but I don't remember talking about Windsor Davis because I would have gone "shut up" to you because that would have been that's what was Windsor Davis' favourite character's catchphrase was "shut up" very loudly in It Ain't Half Hot Mum. It's a comedy series. You can Google it. It's on YouTube. BBC. Wakey, wakey, Kirby.
I'm here.
Good. Right. So then we come to the scene where she says, "Oh, only one but lives." So I think the Graf Vindicay shoots her. Just to
You got the name right. I knew it.
And
All an act.
All an act, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what these people are attempting to do. And then his best mate gets done in. And the Graf Vindicay will avenge the death of what he ran, and K9 blasts through a rock so as Romana can get her stick back, and the Jethro for about to say, "He's not called Jethro." And then they go back to the TARDIS, and Orkron tries to get the Doctor to steal the Jethro, sorry, back off the Doctor. But the Doctor steals it back off him before going to the TARDIS, and the magic wand changes the Jethro into a bit of a strange shape, which is apparently part of the cube. And that therefore ends the Rebus Operation. I'll tell you what I thought about the Rebus Operation, shall I? Right. As I've said through this, I just find that the names difficult to relate to. They're too complicated for me. I like sort of easy to remember names. I didn't like the inter-camera stuff, but and also I did pick up, and it irritated me, was Bostock, not Bostock, the chap who had the funny voices. Who?
Unstuck.
Yeah, I just felt there was a bit of a platform for his ability to do voices, but he wasn't a particularly good actor. I felt that. I felt it was very atmospheric. Even though you could see that Mary Tam was being very careful when trying to make out that rock wouldn't move.
Yes.
It was fairly believable and well lit and atmospheric as far as the castle goes, and quite claustrophobic in some ways, because you do feel that there wasn't anywhere else for everybody to go. The characters were pretty good, quite enjoyable. Again, it was very sort of, this is Graham Williams' era, isn't it? Very sort of trying to be a bit more comedic with Doctor Who. I didn't find any of the parts of it scary. I didn't find any of the part of it thinking, oh my God, how are they going to get out of this one? But on the other side of the thing, it actually was quite good fun. But I'm not sure it was quite good fun in the right way. That's the thing for me. Yeah, it was sort of fairly good. There was bits that were irritating. It was okay. What did you think about it, Kirby?
I think you said that Lillian said, I love it. I love this thing too.
Do you?
I had not seen it before, and I'm so glad that we're doing the entire Key to Time, because I've only seen 2 of the segments of the Key to Time.
Well, there are there are 6 of them, Kirby.
Excuse me?
There's 6 segments, not 2.
I've only seen, before this most recent watch by me and Fred, I'd only seen 2 segments.
No, but there's 6 segments, dear.
Watched all of them.
Have you finished yet?
I'm confused by what you're trying to say.
There are 6 segments
only,
to the Key to Time.
Yes.
You've seen 2 stories, surely, not
2
segments.
of the stories.
Oh, there we go. Did I clear that up for you?
Huh?
Did I clear that up for you, all right?
I'd seen Stones of Blood, and I'd seen Pirate Planet.
Who are?
And-
I thought that you communicated at one time that you and Fred had sat and watched all of the stories in this Key to Time series.
Yes, starting about 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Oh,
So, Kirby,
all right.
And we
Only 2.
Kirby,
no, before Fred and I sat down for
Never mind.
my entire Doctor Who watching experience,
never
I'd
mind.
only seen Stones of Blood and Pirate Planet.
Okay, thank you. So, on the subject of... can I get
and
a word in?
I
Clearly
absolutely loved this story. It was a great deal of fun. Yes,
Mhm.
it was overacting, but it had some of the best writing for Doctor Who from Robert Holmes with the double acts. He managed to do 3 double acts, like I said. Some great back and forth. I didn't mind the accents, the whole Scrimstone thing. I was rolling on the floor laughing because it was just so much fun. So I'm obviously the odd man out between you and da. Go ahead.
Hang on, I'm ready yet. I haven't got my priority jingle folder open yet. So carry on talking a bit, Kirby. I was what you said about the Pirate Planet, didn't you? You referenced. But why are pirates pirates? Why are pirates pirates?
You're setting me up for a joke.
I'm just asking the question. Why are pirates pirates? Because they are.
Because of why?
Because they are. Anyway, Kirby sort of teed it up nicely. Here's Mary.
Well, I didn't exactly hate it. I actually enjoyed it mostly because it was very good writing, and I loved, the whole production. I love the costumes.
Yeah.
And I love that everybody were able to put out like a really full-blown character, which doesn't always happen in Doctor Who. My only problem, really, but I want to say that, like you, Adam, there wasn't much to be scared of, so it was not one of these, edgy, scary. It was all written for humor. So recognizing that, I did enjoy the humor in it. But my biggest issue was with Mary Tam, and it may not have been entirely her fault, because her part was written for a generic companion.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to talk Liz Sladen into coming back.
Oh.
And after considering it for a while, Liz eventually turned them down because she thought it would not help her career to be too tied in to Doctor Who. So then they had to audition. So this was all being written, during these talks with Liz and the auditions. And they had over 100 people show up to audition for Romana. And I guess the director just took a liking to Mary Tam, but she didn't have a lot of time, to like really learn the part and all that. And a lot of the stuff that they thought was going to be lines for Liz, became lines for Romana. And she irritated the entire crew, actually, with her costume. She loved her costume. And she came in to the costume department saying that the colors of her costumes, which is true throughout this whole series, are dictated by her astrologer. So the first one had to be white. It had to be a white costume. So they had to come up with, something like this. But it irritated everybody because her being so white and her being so in love, with this costume, they felt was very distracting to the crew, and they felt like to the people that were going to be watching this too. And it was. I mean, we all, just love this costume of Romana's because she shows it off so well. But this was this was new for her, television acting. So she didn't really know the ropes, and not being given great lines. The combination of the two, where she's kind of learning on the job and not being given a great character to play, she comes off as pretty wooden in my mind. So I don't care for her much. And I believe that this bled into the next story as well, that the next story was being written, of course, while they're filming this story. And so most of the part for Romana is written for a generic companion. So we'll see. But yeah, that's how I am. I'm kind of on the fence about this one. I enjoyed it, but I have the same reservations you do about it, Adam.
I mean, that's okay. It's a pretty good story. So there's a lot worse Doctor Who out there. But yes,
there's worse ones out there.
do feel that Mary Tam was not quite there. But she was pretty, so what did anybody really say?
Pretty, yeah.
And she had Debbie Melrose's eyes, so what else? Yes, Kirby?
I since I have now seen all of the Key to Time, I love the way that they did the book ending of her costume. So she also had a white costume, not exactly the same, but close to it in Armageddon fashion.
No spoilers at all there. Mary, sorry about that. Listeners and viewers.
And say they might not have deliberately been bookending anything. Her astrologer might have been telling them what to do. Well, she was not well received.
Okay, right. So we have so anything come through? I've got something come through. Not a lot come through on the email system, but we can do this.
Hello, Talking With That podcast. This is Ian Kirk.
Hello, Ian.
Rebus Operation by Robert Holmes.
Hey.
The Doctor is given a mission by Colonel Sanders. He has to collect 6 pieces of chicken from around the universe and place them in a bucket. They will then become the key to time, which will restore peace and harmony and other good stuff to space and time. The key must not fall into the hands of McDonald's. Tom Baker went to see a man about a dog during the filming of this story, and the dog bit his lip. Probably did not like the way the programme was turning into the Tom Baker show.
Yeah, and that's another point I forgot to say.
Garon the Con Man is from Hackney Wick in London, but claims to be from the north. The Doctor has a new assistant,
Romana Dvoratna-Lunda,
played by Mary Tam from Bradford. Mary is from the north. Rebus entered its ice time season. So did much of the USA. I hope our listeners are safe. A piece of scrunch stone might help. Binra the Heretic is starstruck and believes in aliens. He's delighted to find this theory is true. The Graf Binder K chews up the scenery until the Doctor kills him. David Tennant will never do that. The Doctor gets the scrunch stone. The con man gets robbed. Most of the others die. An enjoyable first story of the year.
Romana Dvoratna-Lunda
Is a worthy successor to Leela. Bye for now.
Thank you, Ian. Yes. What do we think about the Doctor's cold-blooded murder of the Graf Vindicate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it? Okay, fine.
By the way, to Ian, it is going to be 65 degrees on Tuesday here.
65
I
degrees
don't know what that is in Celsius.
You can't live in that sort of. Oh, I see. You're talking about Fahrenheit.
35 degrees. Okay.
You were talking about Fahrenheit, weren't you? That's a bit silly, really. 65 degrees.
Or 65 degrees going down to 35, but still is extremely warm here in the south.
Okay.
Oh no, we're very cold and snowing here.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get because of that, don't you, in the long run?
What?
A rather huge hurricane, I would imagine. Right, let's see what we've got here. Kirby
Well,
Bartlett.
poor Julia is in Iowa, and it's below zero.
Is it? Oh, good Lord. Isn't that where Captain Kirk was born?
Yes, she's been there.
Has she been to the birthplace of Captain Kirk?
Yes.
She's seen the little blue plaque on his house?
She's been to the monument, and there's an Enterprise, and she brought me a
Communicator?
She brought me several
Banana?
things, including a
Tricorder?
mouse pad. It's a red mouse pad. It says "Live fast, die red."
I'll tell you what, on the subject of Star Trek, we'll just touch on it at the moment, that just currently watching Star Trek Discovery, and it's fab. Still maintaining a high standard of brilliance, that's what I can say with that. And of course, by way of contrast, the Orville, still maintaining an even higher standard of brilliance in storytelling.
Love the Orville.
Yes, we just had the episode where we get the new officer, the new, oh, God's sake. Yeah, because what's her name's left, isn't she? The one who's really strong. Oh God, what's her name?
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, you get the new one, and the captain goes on the holiday with what he thinks is sort of bit on the side woman, but it turns out to be a krill.
Oh yeah.
It's a fantastic story. And then we had another one where and this is probably the best one I've seen of the story in regards to writing and thinking through, where they go on the planet as a first contact thing, and they banish a whole load of people because of astrology and stuff like that. It's so clever.
Yes, it is.
It's what a series that is. Oh my God. But yeah, Kirby Butler Sloan posted something about
the mustache.
yeah, he posted something about is it a request for feedback?
Yes, I posted two requests for feedback. So
Okay. Well,
I don't know what all's in each one of them.
Well, let's have a look at the one that says the most recent one. Well, it looks like the most recent one. It's highest
the
up
most
the
recent
list.
one has Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, that's most recent. Jeff Warder says Colonel Sanders on his afternoon off. Laurie Nick said give it an 8.75. Only points off due to cheapness of the Guardians set dressing and the monster suit. Alan T. Butcher said Garon's suit was not that bad. Graham Sheridan said the perfect Uncle Tom season with the best Fred, Romana. And Jeff Warder said, I won't be sending feedback. I don't like any of this season. I'll still listen though. I should hope so too, Jeff.
And let me go down and see if there's any feedback on my previous requests.
Well, it probably is.
Probably. It's about a week ago. Oh.
Probably is. Let's go back in time.
And some people also commented on your on my saying my repetition of your saying what happened to Isabella. And how is she, by the way?
Oh, she's all right. I mean, she's much better now. She's still got her fingers strapped together, but she's recovering well. So she'll probably be playing badminton after the half-term holidays again. So it was a very, very tiny fracture on one of the joints of her middle finger. So
okay, there's no feedback at all on my original request for feedback. So never mind that.
So there's really not a lot then, is there? No.
Well,
okay.
there's some on the. Are people talking about the story? No, not really. I guess not.
No, well, we'll have to leave it at that. Obviously, it was an underwhelming response to this particular story. So that allows me to move on to the next segment of the show, which is...
What, there's
no what?
What about Alan T. Butcher?
I haven't got... I'll just check my email.
You should.
Check an email. Email being checked. Oh, it's just arrived. Bad luck, Mary. It's just arrived.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Right then. So I'll just see if I can find you on Facebook so I can send it to you. Congratulations. Something you've been particularly looking forward to. And I hope you've been practicing your pronunciation of Romana Dravatnalunda. Have you been doing that? Because I've got a funny feeling there will be mention of this in this particular line of text. Right, here we go. Let's see if I can get the copy function to work on this. There you are. There's the message thread. There's you. Here it comes. There it goes.
Master?
Yes?
Did you like any of the Keto Time?
I'm not going to say whether I liked it or not. It was Jeff Waddle who said he didn't like it, but I'm not going to say whether I like it or not. Thank you very much. Okay.
Well,
Wait and see,
can
Mr.
tell you,
Spoiler.
I'm not going to tell you which ones, but I can tell you that there are a couple of stories that I did not think were 100% top notch.
Okay, we'll come to that in a later
The thing I did
broadcast.
like to say is that the one thing I did enjoy, because the last season was really going down the tubes in terms of being the Tom Baker show.
Yeah.
One nice thing about this story is that he was not the center of attention in this one,
Mm,
but a lot of other characters were given, chances.
Yes,
okay.
they told him, the BBC told them to kind of pull Tom back a little bit from the Tom Baker comedy half hour.
Well, it didn't last very long, did it?
Again, it happens again later, but
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Well,
inevitable.
Before we move on to Mary reading Anti-Butcher, we have Laurie Nix saying, I actually liked her austere time lady acting. It was a change from the human companions. I liked the first scene with her hair up. They got rid of that pretty quickly. And then Alan T. Butcher said, to be clear, I didn't feed back on the lingerie. Okay. Because Laurie Nick said earlier on, it was lingerie.
Oh,
what was?
I can't remember because I forgot to read that bit out at the time. Mary, let's listen to Alan T. Butcher's findings on the Rebus Operation.
all right. This is
Pull
from
this
Alan
candle out and lean back and listen.
Hustle the Garen and Unstoff years, or Graf Vindicated. Steffi wins at Rebosian tennis.
Rebusian tennis.
Rebosian?
Yes. It's the
Okay.
planet Rebus.
Rebos. Oh, you're right. Yes, we talked about these difficult names. Dear 20 megabyters, the Rebus operation is, of course, a closely studied explication of the doctor's subtransitory experiential hypertoroid-induced condition. Is it hypertoroid or hypertoroid? I don't know. Hypertoroid-induced condition, aggravated by multi and pathological tensions. The placement of the action in a primitive culture, which sits within a galaxy of interstellar activity of which it is incongruously unaware, but to which possibilities have only really occurred to one of those dismissed as the lowest amongst them, clearly hints at the nature of the doctor's malaise, quickly noted by Romana Avatralunda. The doctor's successful switcheroo, technical term, leaves him with the prized Jethric, which is a part of the elemental power he needs to find perhaps indicates his propensity to overcome his shortcomings. It should be noted that Binro was right. We also learned that a reporter present at the time of the first Nestine invasion, who later went to Zeta Minor, and who also donned a blonde wig to pose as a Thal on Spiridon, ended up here on Rebus, guarding the crown jewels as the Shreve captain. All in all, the Rebus operation is a very entertaining start to this innovative era in the show's history. The series-long arc established here somewhat curtails the normal, very open format of Doctor Who and the elemental and supernatural character of the white/black guardian paradigm. May seem to fly in the face of the rational scientific quality of the Who universe. However, this does not get in the way of Robert Holmes's talent for great dialogue and a solid plot, and the new dynamic of the TARDIS crew gets off to an impressive start. This serial is perhaps 22 episodes too short, as there would advantages to having the masterful Robert Holmes write the whole series. Next up, Doctor Who and Long John Cybernetic or Polly puts canine on. Those are my thoughts. Alan T. Butcher.
Thank
Yay.
you very much indeed, Alan. I will point out that, of course, after Kirby trying to think that I didn't like the Key to Time series, I've made it quite clear that The Pirate Planet is one of my favourite stories, if not my favourite story of all time. Okay,
I
so
thought City of Death was your favorite story.
I like both,
Yes,
but
good.
The Pirate Planet, I think, edges it slightly because it's slightly less farcical. Okay, and
Oh, really?
and it wins it via the scene in which, when the Doctor discovers, and I was slightly spoilerific, when the Doctor discovers that they've been shrinking planets and killing everybody on them, his reaction to that is absolutely gold, and that wins it for me. It's just brilliant. But I'll have to say that again next week because I've never made it a secret.
And we've
how
done
much I
that
love it.
story, I believe, twice.
Yeah, the 13th Doctor did it, didn't she? It was done in
No,
this series. It was what?
I'm saying that we've done a
Pirate
20
Planet.
megabyte of Pirate Planet. Let me see. I'll tell you in a second.
So that, I'll just make sure. To double
Oh,
check.
just once.
That concludes feedback for this particular
October 2013.
Okay, thank you, Kirby. Okay. Doctor Who News. Okay, let's see what we've got going on, because we have glossed over a couple of passings recently that are important to the world of Doctor Who. Actually, what I want to do, because I didn't do it, and I should really try and make a sort of a screen grab of this, because it is wonderful. Carry on. Let's talk about yourselves a minute. I've got to do this because this is the episode I should do it, and I should have done it last time. Or did we not record since Windsor Davis died? Okay, I'll just talk amongst myself now. When I said talk amongst yourselves, what that actually means is you blimmin' talking amongst yourself, for goodness sake. As in talking while I try and. Oh, what is it? Oh, here we go. This is it. Have a listen. Kirby,
What?
you listening?
Master?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was Windsor
I'm not
Davis.
sure what it was.
It was Windsor Davis going. Oh, let's take it back to the beginning again.
Shut up, okay.
Did you hear that time?
What's he saying?
I'll do it again. Shut up, he's saying very loudly.
Shut up, okay.
Yeah, no, he's shouting it very loudly, as in the Sergeant Major Williams character from It Ain't Half Hot Mum. Back to news. We actually haven't started news yet, so I had to segue onto that bit. Yeah, because we did about W. Morgan Shepherd dying. We've done Utopia. We've done not a lot of news. The War Master stuff. There's a load of vinyl Doctor Who records. The Dalek Master Plan coming out on vinyl. And the final ratings were Resolution, which was 7.13 million. That was a great story, wasn't it? Celestial Toy Room Annual, we talked about that. Oh, God. David Tennant does a podcast with... he's got his own podcast, hasn't he?
Yep.
So he's done there's a picture of him with Olivia Colman. And now, of course, Tennant, because Olivia Colman is nominated for an Oscar, can now, whenever he says her name, can count it as a name drop, really, I suppose. Olivia Colman also plays the Majesty of the Queen in the next series of The Crown. The Crown is one of the best programs on TV.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Because it is so respectful, and quite rightly so, to Her Majesty the Queen herself, and I wouldn't say it's particularly respectful to the rest of the royal family, but it does paint the Queen in the light that she should be painted in. She's in her late 90s, everybody, and still working. Right then, moving on.
Did you say Olivia was going to play the Queen?
She plays the Queen in the next series of The Crown. Yes.
Okay, great.
Fantastic, isn't it? So she'll obviously, the Queen will be doing a bit of crying, because that is Olivia Colman's forte, crying. She's particularly good at it. At crying on screen, but she was in a lot of very good comedy programs before she was in Doctor Who, and a very good comedy actress as well. So I can't remember what she was in, but Kirby will find out. It's probably, if you go to the Olivia Colman Wikipedia page and just look at her earlier career, there's a particular comedy series she was in, brilliant. And I think there are clips available on YouTube. The Doctor Who in iPlayer Top 10. Here we go. Hang on. Gives me an opportunity to go back in time. By the way, I did actually ask Mr. Ben Shoveler if he'd come back on the show. He said he might do from time to time. What?
You skipped the that book about the making of Love and Monsters?
What? The Black Archive, Love and Monsters?
Yes.
Well, you can talk about that while I get this thing going then.
Well, it's a book about the detail, looks in detail the making of the 10th Doctor story, Love and Monsters. What I have to say doesn't have a lot to do with that book, but the kid who designed the Absorbaloft has his own YouTube channel where he has discussed. Now he's no longer a kid, where he's discussed the whole thing about his view of Love and Monsters, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, for those of you that have time to read novelizations and books and stuff, that would be fantastic. I'm not one of these people. If I was able to or had time to read and stuff, I'd be still an author. Well, obviously I'm an author. I'll be continuing my role as an author, but I have no time to do that anymore, I'm afraid. Sorry. But yeah, go for it. It's good. Right then, okay. Ooh, excuse me. Something just repeated on me there. A very nice roast chicken dinner that Deb did for me earlier on. So we're looking at the Doctor Who in iPlayer Top 10. At number 10, Match of the Day Live, Sweden versus England. At number 9, Bing show. Number 8, Our Girl, the Nigeria, Belize and Bangladesh Tours episode 1. Number 7, Dynasties, Chimpanzee. Number 6, Cry, episode 1. Number 5, Keeping Faith, episode 1. Number 4, Doctor Who, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. Number 3, Mafia, episode 1. Number 2, Killing Eve, Night Space. And number 1, Bodyguard, episode 1.
Thank you. I missed that.
Did you? Or you want me to do it again?
No, those were the days. I used to love listening to your rankings.
Again, as I had to do it all myself, there was no time for me to look through the rankings. Besides, we're probably not even anywhere near the top 20 of the Doctor Who podcasts now, because there are about a million. There are Doctor Who podcasts out there. There are episodes of Doctor Who, and that's saying something. Clive Swift has passed away at the age of 82. He, of course, played a rather sort of slimy character in the Revelation of the Daleks, but he's better known as Richard Bucket in the television series Keeping Up Appearances.
Okay.
Bucket, dear, Richard Bucket. He was pronounced Bouquet by his snobby wife, Hyacinth Bouquet.
Oh, yeah.
Doctor Who Legacy to close. Tiny Rebel Games have announced that the online game Doctor Who Legacy will close in 2 weeks' time, as of the 3rd of February. So it's on the verge of closing now, really. Doctor Who Legacy was launched in 2013, a free-to-play game to coincide with the 50th anniversary. Over time, the game has evolved to include every incarnation of the Doctor from the television series, including the War Doctor, and well over 200 companions from both classic and modern Doctor Who.
I've never heard of it before.
Oh, I've heard of it, but it's not a thing I really do. It's something that perhaps they should have considered bringing out on PlayStation 4 or something like that. But it's still quite a sad thing that they're trying to gradually take bits of Doctor Who away from us again. As things go.
Yeah, I first heard about it when Jason posted about it earlier. I think it was last night.
Yeah. Doctor Who 13th Doctor number 4. This week's release from Titan Comics is the 4th in the series of the 13th Doctor comics. Yeah, so that's good, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Did you know? Now, I don't want to think a bit about this now. The Stan Lee wrote some Doctor Who comic stuff. Did you know this?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew that.
I know it as well, so we can shut up about it now, can't we? Rosa wins Visionary Arts Award. Doctor Who episode Rosa has been awarded the Visionary Arts Organisation Award for Television Show of the Year. Well, that's good, isn't it? Needs to win a few more awards, really. So there you go. Fantastic stuff. Tonight, here in Great Britain, in fact, in about 55 minutes' time, the British Academy Film Awards begin, and I'll be sitting down and watching that eagerly, hoping that Bohemian Rhapsody wins some good awards, because it deserves to. It's the best film I've seen for a long, long time. Most inspirational film, at least, I've seen for a very long time indeed. And the music's fab, and so I'm hoping, among all hope, that happens. I have now my full collection of sort of 5.5-inch scale Doctor Who figures, because my 13th Doctor arrived this week. I didn't get into too much trouble with Deb over it. I think she perfectly understands I need to be a bit of a completionist in the 5.5 figure front, so my whole mantelpiece now adorned by Doctors. I would actually like to have an alternative 8th Doctor. I've still got the, you know, the 8th Doctor via the sort of movie version rather than the 7-minute thing we got a few years ago. But I'm still quite proud of my collection of Doctors. And that was leading me on to the 13th Doctor Funko Pop is coming out. So I know that all these Funko Pops come out, then they go. So I've got on order a 13th Doctor Funko Pop. In fact, I've bought 2, because I'm hoping that one of them will become rare, so then I'll get the money back for the both of them. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get a lot of Doctor stuff at face value on any medium in regards to Funko Pops. But there are a couple of characters being released along with the 13th Doctor, but I can't remember what they are. Yeah, sorry about that. And of course, I very nearly bought a Sheldon to go along with my Raj and Leonard ones, because on eBay there was one going for about £45, which is around about the price I paid for the ones that the collector's items have my shelf there. Because Sheldon characters seem to go, if you look on Amazon, for probably over £100. So I thought grabbing that for 45 was, even though it was £15 when they first came out, was a bit of a bargain. And I'm still waiting, apparently next month, my full collection of Queen. That's a band who used to play music in Great Britain. Queen Funko Pops. I think they will be a collector's item. That they're going to be arriving quite soon, so that's quite exciting. Right then, I suppose we should talk about sponsors.
If you're talking about acquisitions, Laurie Nix and I both caved in and bought ourselves a TARDIS coffee presses. I don't know if you saw her postings.
A TARDIS coffee press?
Coffee press, yeah.
What's that do then?
Well, you put the grounds
Coffee
in it, and you put the hot water, and you let it steam, you know, or soak through and all, and then there's like a plunger that you plunge through so that all the grounds stay at the bottom, and you pour your coffee out.
I'm a tea man, you see. That doesn't equate in my mind.
She uses it for tea. I use it for coffee, but
she uses it for tea. Good for her.
She's got a little posting on her Facebook page about how she does it with tea.
Anyway, Laurie Nick says, I suggest Adam dress as a pirate for the next few weeks. Well, it's not actually. We've missed National Dress as a Pirate Day, Laurie. So
talk is a.
I beg your pardon?
Talk like Pirate Day.
Oh, talk like arr, but that's a while back, wasn't it? And then she said, Laurie Nix was a huge Doctor Who legacy fan. Sad to see it go. Oh.
Yeah.
Back to you were going to say something, Kirby. I beg your pardon.
No, I don't.
Good, that makes a change. Right then, so on to who1.co.uk, another company that I need to send an invoice
to. Is that
to.
who1.co.uk?
No, it's a company I need to send an invoice to. I've got a lot on my mind. I might try and remember to do that tomorrow. They've got, amongst their collection of publications, Doctor Who magazine 535, and it's looks like the Melker on the front cover. You can get that much quicker if you order it through Who1, wherever you are in the world. The 13th Doctor action figure, woohoo, is also available. I don't think they'll bring many other versions of that particular figure out, and also I don't think they'll do many more runs of them, because all the action figures they bring out now become collector's items fairly quickly. But there you go. Well, you can also still get the Doctor Who magazine 534, the special of the yearbook for 2019, amongst other bits and bobs. Let's see what's coming soon. Lots of Big Finish things. Black Thursday and Power Games, a 6th Doctor story, along with that's me dropping my token, along with Devil in the Mist, and which is, like I said, a 5th Doctor story, and River Song. Diary of River Song 5, which looks like it's got Missy on the cover. First Doctor Adventures 3, that is quite interesting. I saw a thing about that, in which I think Carol Ann Ford's in it, and the actress that played Susan in the Adventures of Space and Time, there's a picture of her on the cover. along with some of the actors from Adventures of Space and Time, including obviously the chap who played the Doctor in that story. What's his name again? Who played the Doctor? First Doctor? No, not William Hartnell. He's dead.
Oh, David Bradley.
Thank you, Mary. Well done. So that's going to be quite interesting, isn't it? The first Doctor stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially with the fact that they decided to rope in the cast that were pretending to play the actors in Adventures of Space and Time. I wonder if they managed to rope in Toby. I think he might have mentioned this before, but he didn't. Obviously, Macroterra. It's coming out on DVD. I presume that is the animated version.
Yes.
I must buy that when it comes out.
Me too.
Resolution, which is a Doctor Who story on DVD. Not available yet, but available soon. And Series 8 Syndicate Master Plan 1. And Series 8 Syndicate Master Plan 2. So it was lots of Big Finish are really churning out the stuff at the moment.
Is someone syndicating that or something?
Was that supposed to be funny or something?
Yes.
Well, it wasn't. Right then, let's have a look at Lavasi. Now, I would think that things would be awful in the universe if Lavasi decided to stop making Fourth Doctor scars. But let's have a look, make sure they're still making them.
I'm
Otherwise,
looking up on my shelf and looking at my 3 Doctor Who scarves, including my wonderful Lavarzi one.
yeah, well, the sweater, the Christmas sweater, is still available, along with shorter versions of said scarves and Pandorica open gloves. They're new, aren't they? I haven't seen those. A pair of gloves with the Pandorica opens picture on it, painted by the actual Vincent van.
Yes, well done.
And obviously TARDIS tie, it's quite pretty. Fourth Doctor scarf tie sold out. Paisley hanky of the Seventh Doctor, and umbrellas still available, not the one I've got with the question mark handle. And of course the very pretty question mark tank top. The trouble wearing these you know, especially the question mark tank top, which I love, wear it for too long, they start going all bobbly and fluffy. So the best thing I'm supposed to do is just hardly ever wear it. Maybe only wear it when cosplaying the Seventh Doctor. So there we go. That's all your news and items of what would you call it? Sponsorship items. What else we got here? We've got Lillian Robbins said, Adam, I had to point out you missed something that I did post about Call the Midwife before you did. Oh yes. Oh yes. Somebody, because I thought I was being clever, the next day I recorded the bit of Call the Midwife that obviously had them all watching the Aztecs, and I was quite excited by this because it actually showed them watching Doctor Who in 1964, and I thought it was lovely. Just you know, to even imagine people sat around the telly watching it, even though half the nurses weren't really interested in it. It was beautifully done, a lovely little homage to Doctor Who, and I thought I'd film it with my phone. And but somebody had already done it. I should have known this. Doctor Who fans are people that have to be there first every single time, don't they? Never mind. Lovely with that. And what should you say? No. Someone, okay. And then Lillian Robbins said, I didn't mean to out pedant you, Kirby. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh my.
I don't think.
Is it possible to do so?
I don't think that ever needs an apology, to be fair. Okay, right then, let's see where we are. So today is the 10th of February. Next week is the 17th of February, when we will be reviewing The Pirate Planet, and hopefully Debbie Melrose will not be ill. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah,
I know Ben Shoveler won't be on next
quiz?
week because he texted me to say, and I quote, this is Ben Shoveler of Fame, not Fame, the film Fame, with, you know, but Fame as it being a radio presenter and stuff. He said, I said, I'll make appearance occasionally, and I said, good, when? He said, when I'm free. I said, any ideas when? He said, can't tonight or next week, maybe a fortnight. So that would be quite good. Sadly, though, in a fortnight, I'll be working, so I won't be able to do it then anyway. So isn't that typical?
Really?
Yeah, so no show on the 24th, but we will be there next week. The Pirate Planet on the 17th of February, barring broken fingers and stuff like that. So
no quiz because there's too few of us.
no quiz because I want to watch the BAFTAs.
Oh,
Well, sorry about that, Kirby. It would only be okay. So,
Yay, no quiz. Yay, no quiz.
I
now
wonder if you've got any questions
It's
about
like being given a snow day.
speaking of quizzes for next week, do I either sit the quiz out or do I won't listen to the last time and try to remember things?
Well, I feel that I should abandon doing quizzes about the things we're watching anyway. I quite like my little bots of
Yes.
random questions about Doctor Who, because Mary seems to do a lot better under those circumstances.
Under what circumstances?
Well, you won last time.
He's talking about doing them from the
Trivial Pursuit.
Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, golly, I hate those questions. I really do.
I do okay with them.
I haven't done well other than that one time.
Well, I'll decide at a later date. Depends what sort of mood I'm in next week. Anyway,
Yeah, the thing is that it has been 5 years since we did Pirate Planet. So, and I promise I won't go back and listen.
Yeah, I don't know why you would anyway.
that doesn't sound very convincing, Kirby, the way you're saying that.
I won't.
It doesn't
For
sound
one thing, I
particularly
don't have time. I'm going to be
convincing.
so
Oh,
darn
here we
busy.
go. Pretend excuses. Okay, so anyway, so until then, thanks for persevering with the show. See you again next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Fancy Pants.
Bye.